It's so much fun, so here we go to the Zoodio Studio.
Today's book is My Place in Space by Robin and Sally Hirst, illustrated by Roland, Harvey and Joe Levine. Published by the 5 Mile Press. Not so long ago, Henry Wilson and his sister Rosie were waiting for a bus. The bus arrived, and with a sudden swerve towards the curb and a hiss from the brakes, it stopped in front of them. The door swung back. The tall and rather scruffy conductor peered down from the top of the steps. "Well, Sonny, what's your name?" "Henry Wilson," replied Henry politely, "and this is my sister Rosie." "And what can we do for you?" questioned the conductor. "We would like a ride home, please," said Henry. You can see on the bus it says read more books. There's a bank and Haley's Hardware and Blue Moon Cafe. And lots of people. "Home?" asked the conductor rather loudly, imitating Henry's voice. Henry wished he would speak a little more softly and stop asking questions. "Home?" repeated the conductor just as loudly. "That depends on whether you can remember where you live." He laughed, and Henry saw him wink at 2 young women on the front seat of the bus. They began to giggle. "I wonder if you do know where you live," the conductor's voice boomed. The giggling young women stared down at Henry, waiting for his reply. We can see more of the town here too. And the sign on the bus has changed to heel sore backs. Henry gritted his teeth and took a deep breath. "Yes, I do know where we live. It's at number 12 Main Road, Gumbridge. Our house is on the north side of Main Road. The town of Gumbridge is just over the river from here, about 20 kilometres south of the Dividing Range." Henry looked at the conductor, whose grin was fading slightly. It seemed as if he wanted to speak, but no words were coming out of his mouth. Henry took a deep breath and continued. "Gumbridge is just a typical country town in Australia. Australia is in the southern hemisphere of the planet Earth," continued Henry. The young women in the front seat had stopped giggling, and their mouths were now gaping rather foolishly. So was the conductor's. Rosie squeezed Henry's hand. Henry, gaining courage, took another deep breath and went on. "Oh, look, there's a zombie over here, and his friend, and an alien." The planet Earth is one of 9 known planets which circle the star we call the Sun. The Earth is the 3rd planet from the Sun, 150 million kilometres away from it. In fact, it takes 8 minutes for the Sun's light to travel from the Sun to the Earth. That may seem a long way, but it's 6,000 million kilometres to Pluto, the 9th planet from the Sun. Sunlight takes about 5.5 hours to travel to that planet. Of course, these days, Pluto isn't called a planet anymore, but that's okay. This is an old but wonderful book. Rosie, who hadn't taken her eyes off Henry, nodded gravely in agreement, but the conductor said nothing, even though his jaw was moving up and down. "We call the sun and planets our solar system," continued Henry. "Now, our solar system is in the middle of a group of stars we call the solar neighbourhood. Our sun's neighbours are stars of all colours and sizes. You can see them in the dark skies of Gumbridge on any clear night. The nearest star to the sun that we can see is called Alpha Centauri. Even though it's the closest, it takes over 4 years for its starlight to reach our sun. Other stars, like the big red star Antares, are right out to the edge of the solar neighbourhood, about 500 light years away. That means it takes 500 years for their light to reach us." Rosie smiled lovingly at Henry and took another deep breath, just like him. raw chooks. What is going on with that bus? The solar neighbourhood is just a small part of the Orion Arm. You see, stars aren't spread out evenly in space, they hang around in groups. Our sun is one star in a group of millions of stars that make a giant curved shape in space. The curve is called the Orion Arm. In among the stars are huge clouds of dust and glowing gases. You can see the dust clouds from Gumbridge too. They look like dark patches in the very starry parts of the sky. The conductor looked at his watch. He looked as though he was about to say something, but Henry quickly continued. You can see the dark dust clouds in the picture above, can't you? Like veins, they look beautiful. The Orion Arm is just one of the arms of a huge group of about 300,000 million stars. This whole group is called the Milky Way Galaxy. Now, if you think it's a long way to Gumbridge, or even to the nearest star, that's nothing really. It takes light 100,000 years to cross from one side of the galaxy to the other. Our galaxy is called a spiral galaxy because of the way its arms make a spiral shape. Henry let go of Rosie's hand so he could demonstrate the shape of the spiral arms. Meanwhile, the bus has changed to freed more crooks. Of course, the Milky Way isn't the only galaxy of stars in space. There are 20 galaxies in our local group of galaxies. Ours is the second largest. The largest is called the Andromeda Galaxy. It's a spiral galaxy too, said Henry, making more spiral shapes for the conductor. Light from the stars in the Andromeda Galaxy takes over 2 million years to reach ours. Most of space is just that, space, added Henry, trying to relieve the puzzled look on the conductor's face. The two women on the bus were now staring at the conductor, whose face seemed to be turning slightly red. Henry went on. Our local group of galaxies is just part of a huge group of galaxies called the Virgo Supercluster. It takes like a few million years to cross our local group of galaxies, but it takes a few 100 million years to cross from one side of a supercluster to another. The conductor's face was now a bright shade of red, and he was shaking his head from side to side. With one more deep breath and a quick smile, Henry said triumphantly, waving both arms to make a large circle, and the whole universe is filled with superclusters of galaxies. My goodness, that's so big. Rosie suddenly stepped in front of Henry. Clenching her fists and pushing out her chest, she said, "So, we do know where we live. We live at 12 Main Road, Gumbridge, Australia, Southern Hemisphere. Earth, Solar System, Solar Neighbourhood, Orion Arm, Milky Way Galaxy, Local Group of Galaxies, Virgo Supercluster, the Universe." "May we have our tickets, please?" asked Henry. And at the back of the book there's lots of interesting information, like light travels 300,000 kilometers per second. Or a light year is the distance light travels in 1 year. Or on a clear night, you can see 2,000 stars in the sky.
It's so much fun, so here we go to the Zoodio Studio.
Now it's your turn to play.
Yeah.
Download Zoodio.
Zoodio.